Hello, everybody. Did I? No, I didn't spike the mic. Okay, good. I'm sort of worried if I say hello too loudly into the microphone, it's gonna spike it because I can spike it if I speak too loudly. I didn't. So I shouldn't even be talking. Hello, everybody. I'm Viva Reverie, and you're watching Vivcast. Hooray! I've made a sort of intro catchphrase thing. That's good. That's like step one to becoming someone who's recognizable and not stupid on the internet. Because, like, with animations, you don't really have that. You don't really have a part at the very start where the person introduces himself with their catchphrase. If you can call hello everybody a catchphrase, like 90% of the internet says that anyway. Whatever. Anyway, so hello everybody. Today we are going to talk about formalities first. Actually, first. First thing I would like to mention is I just a couple of days ago I uploaded St. Patrick's Day collab special video thing. If that was like I'm not sure if it's going to be this way for many people like at all. But if that was your first video of mine and you're going on to this one, hello. It's an incredibly specific thing, and I have no idea if that's actually a thing that has happened. But if that's a thing that happened, hello, welcome to this series where I talk into the microphone for periods of time about stupid topics. I hope you enjoy your times here. That was formality number one. Formality number two. I've actually got a few things here which aren't really formalities, but just things I sort of thought about, which are interesting things that I want to mention that are unrelated to the video's topic. First of all, talking into a void is good panel practice. What I mean about that is right now I'm in my room with nobody listening to my voice but myself, and I have to like keep up this sort of constantly speaking, constantly like heightening up the amount of noise to a level that only I can hear. Only I'm the one who's talking, rather. Not only I can hear. Because the idea is that in a panel, like at a live, like sort of convention or something, let's say I'm the only one. I've done a solo panel before at BronyCon, if you were there. It was like, I don't know, 50 people max, but no, I'd say maybe a bit more than that. I don't know, the room was full. How big is a small filled room? Because that's how many people went to my panel at BronyCon, which for some reason still isn't uploaded. You should totally get onto that BronyCon stuff. That's unrelated. The point is that yeah, I feel like these Vivcasts are actually kind of good panel practice because I'm sort of making it a rule to never edit these. I do not want, because you know, if you're doing like a live podcast, this isn't live, obviously, this is pre-recorded, but nonetheless, like if ever I were to do anything live, I can say that I was sort of used to talking like this as sort of like a normal thing, which is not something I can say about like the other updatey videos I used to do, where it was just essentially me sort of like trying to get out a thought, saying the same thing 50 times because I wanted to say it a specific way, but getting it wrong because I'm OCD about inflections. Go see the Voices and Accent episode I made a couple of weeks ago if you want to refer to whatever the hell I'm talking about there, because that's relevant. That's relevant to the thing. Pardon me, oh man, double damn it. First of all, God damn it, triple damn it. First of all, I spiked the microphone slightly earlier, and Audacity is telling me that I did. Secondly, and thirdly, I burped twice because I had a small drink of water shortly before starting this. Anyway, point is, it's good panel practice, and that's a good thing because I'm going to do panels in the future, or at least more panels in the future, hopefully. Anyway, another thing that I wanted to mention, semi-related, is just like recording myself. I can sort of I find out, like, I realize that, like, whoa, I talk in that way. I say that thing a lot. Like, well, first of all, I say like a lot. There's a good example, but you know, a lot of people do. So that's barely a good example, but it's like, oh, I said like again. But that's not the only whatever. I haven't like listened to my previous like Vivcasts so like within the past little bit, so I can't say that I can remember exactly what it was that I am thinking about or was thinking about when I wrote down that was a thing that I had, but that's an interesting thing. Oh, and last formality. Oh my God, this is going on for a century. Is I want to address the poll, which was from a couple of episodes ago, on the Toys and Toy Videos video, because I forgot to mention that before. And that is that the winner of the poll says, if you haven't seen that episode, I essentially asked, do you mind if I swear in these? And the there was only 14 people, which was 5% of the vote, said no swears please. 54% said occasional swears, why not? And 40% said swear like a sailor. So I'm allowed to do that. That being said, I don't know. It's probably, like I said, it's good panel practice. Likewise, I'm probably going to try and restrict myself, because otherwise, what if I accidentally swear on a live panel for where kids are there? That's not good. That being said, I'll probably occasionally swear from now on. Hooray! We'll see if that happens in this episode. I don't think it will, because this is a really simple episode. We are done with formalities. It took a while, but there was a lot of things I wanted to go through. Next episode probably won't be as stupidly long with the formalities. I remember somebody, or maybe a couple of people saying oh, formalities are too long. You shouldn't have long formalities because, talk about the actual topic of the episode. As I previously mentioned, if in one of my episodes, I don't want to restrict myself because otherwise I'll just have thoughts that I want to get out, but I'm saying, no, I need to move time forward. I mean, to be fair, if I want to say that I'm practicing 4 panels, then I do need to learn to restrict myself. But then again, those are an hour long, minimum, so I think I'm fine. We should talk about the actual topic of today's discussion, which is emoticons and emoji. Now, alright, how do I start this? Essentially, this is a sort of thing which, I sort of mildly think about, and I'm pretty sure other people may or may not have mildly thought about, but nobody ever actually talks about it as a thing. It's just okay, if you're talking to somebody, do you use emoticons or not? Not emoji, we'll get to that later. That's sort of deviation. I'll talk about emoticons now and emoji later in the video. Because yeah, when I'm talking with personally with personal people or people I know, casually, then sure, I use emoticons, and if they use emoticons too, then I'll use emoticons. Such as but only specific ones. I am an avid user of the XD emoticon. You know that one. Then that one. It's a really sort of goofy one, but I tack it onto the ends of messages a lot, as a sort of expression to say, look, the thing that I'm talking about is either funny or I am happy about it, because it's well, first of all, one thing I like about it is that there's no attached emoji for it. Like there is for most emoticons. Oh, I wanted to talk about emoji later, but yeah, it's just sort of I don't know. It's sort of a personal thing. Okay. If I'm going to be talking to any of you people in the comments, chances are I probably won't be using emoticons and emoji because they're not widely accepted as a sort of good casual conversation thing. I mean, they kind of are. If you're personal with somebody, but in casual conversation with people you don't know if they find it childish or not. So it's better to just assume that they think it's a childish thing. Otherwise, they'll think you're childish, even though you just want to casual conversate. And that's just sort of There's you know what? There's a really good example I have of what I'm talking about here is 4chan. There was there was one time ages ago I went on 4chan. I don't go on 4chan often. Because, 4chan, whatever. Where like I sort of tried to casually conversate, and I was immediately shut down because I used emoticons. I'm just sort of thinking like, I don't really like that. Like sure, 4chan can be 4chan, but 4chan is pretty like, you have to be very specific in how you talk to people on 4chan. It's sort of a weird. It's like, I guess you could go into an entire like conversation about that, about how like, oh, they're this sort of hive mind, because like everybody talks like anonymously, so like every anonymous person, like generally, of course this is not the case, but generally they all talk and like about this, like talk about things the same sort of way, and that's sort of like harsh, no shits given sort of speak. Hey, there's one. It's I don't really know how to describe it like in any other way. If you go on 4chan, chances are you know exactly what I'm talking about, where like everybody throws the word faggot around like it's a casual term, and which is a really weird thing, by the way. It's very specific to 4chan. Like emoticons being completely blasphemed over on 4chan is like, it's like a really, like no other sites I can think of has that. Like mostly because it's not really like that easy to get into that site if you're like a sort of casual internet onlooker. Like 4chan is like an entity that you don't go near. I don't want to keep going. Like I said, like, oh god, I'm triple contradicting myself right now. I said, okay, I don't want to like turn this into a conversation about 4chan, but like at the same time, I don't want to restrict myself, as I previously mentioned, not 5 minutes ago. That being said, this is a conversation about emoticons because okay, I have a rule. I'm instating a new rule. This rule states that I'm allowed to restrict myself if this is potential conversation for a future video. That's what I did with the MLP Gameloft game last episode. That's what I'll do now with 4chan. That's a potential conversation for later. In any case, let's keep talking about emoticons. I talked about the XD emoticon, more specifically the lowercase x, the uppercase D, because an uppercase X looks, the eyes are too big, or the one big cartoon eye, whatever. It depends on how you interpret it. But then there's like a few other, like I like doing the colon capital D one. That's sort of like a sort of jolly one where it's just like, hey, I'm happy and we're happy, but I generally don't do that one like sort of, I feel like that's one I only sort of do half ironically. It's not one that I sort of use as a sort of casual, like, I'm actually happy. I always use it as a, haha, I'm happy, as a sort of silly thing, if that makes any sense. There's two emoticons that I never touch. Two emoticons, they're the happy face and the smiley face. No, the happy face and the sad face emoticons. They're just so, they're so generic. They're kind of creepy. That, especially the happy face one. Like when I visualize the happy face emoticon colon right bracket, I always think of like those 30-year-olds on Facebook who don't know any better, who are just like, haha, that was a funny minion meme colon right bracket. Things like that. It's like sort of weird, and the smile itself is sort of creepy and sort of like staring into your soul. Maybe I like XD because it doesn't actually look like eyes, so they can't look into your soul, even though colon D I find okay. Another one I'm okay with is colon P, or capital P, whatever. Colon capital P, the tongue out emoticon. It's just sort of like, I'm silly. I'm talking about a silly thing. These are really, really weird things to talk about because, like, again, this is not something that you usually conversate with people about. It's like if you and somebody else, let's say For example, you're a person who uses emoticons. This would not apply to anybody who doesn't use emoticons, period. But let's say if you're someone who uses emoticons, do you what is your habits with talking with one person over another? Do you sort of have the same mindset that I do, where it's like, yeah, I like using emoticons, but like against casual strangers, I don't touch them because why would I ever touch them with people I don't know? That's weird. Euphemisms. That sounded like a euphemism. Anyway, because yeah, it's like how do you sort of like. This is like a really interesting conversation topic, I feel like, because again, this is like, it's just sort of like accepted by the society as a thing that we do, but we never talk about. It's a really weird thing. I don't know. I think that's sort of, yeah, all right. I'll move on to emoji now, emoji specifically. If you don't know what I mean when I say the difference between emoticons and emoji are the pictures that show up when you do the right bracket thing in like Facebook. Facebook is a good example. Like DeviantArt is another one. I'll get back into that later. Because like Skype is another one. Skype is another good one. Because they sort of like show up as like they show up differently on different sites, which means that suddenly they have like different like connotations. Is that the right word? I think that's the right word. And like like for example, the Skype ones are animated. That suddenly makes them a lot weirder. Like the I think the P one is like sort of animated where like it's still sort of has the same sort of vibe, but like, oh geez, there's a few that are just like really weird. Okay, I need to bring up probably the biggest example of like why the hell did they do this in emoticon existences is on DeviantArt. The P like, you know, silly goofy haha emoticon is this, which is really creepy and weird looking, and I have no idea why they chose that to be. It's like, you cannot anywhere on DeviantArt use that seriously, because why the hell did they choose to make it look like that? It's so like, do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking about? Of course you are. You're looking at it right now because I edited it in post, because of course I did, because I spend way too much time editing these, even though I don't edit these. My editing with Vivcast is essentially me listening through and saying like, all right, I should add a thing here, and then all right, I should add a thing here, and then going complete editing mode with the fan art section. But yeah. That being said, no, not yet. I won't go into the fan art section just yet, because there's a couple of, because there's one thing that I sort of thought up, which I guess it's not really a conversation topic, but it's a thing I thought up. The 3 emoticon, the one that looks like sort of a cat mouth. It's a cute one. It's a cute one that again you would only use if you're trying to be cute, but in any other circumstance you would never use. And then that thought brought me to the fact that the 3 emoticon on Skype is an animated cat and not a cat face in any way, which is another big example of like the meaning of what you originally wrote the emoticon for going away, just like completely. It's like, yeah, it's like emoticons and stuff. They're weird. I think I feel like there's more I should delve into, because this is like 20 minutes long now, so I think I'm done. Yeah, that was this episode of Vivcast. Maybe I shouldn't say that was this episode of Vivcast just before the fan art section, because the fan art section tends to take a little bit of a while, or at least longer than I expected it to. So maybe I should say it's the end of the episode once that's over. I don't know. Let's get into fan art. So this week I didn't get any like new fan art, or at least I don't think I received any, or at least I hope I didn't receive any because I missed it. Like I assume everybody was sort of all fan arted out after the last episode, which was my birthday, because a lot of people drew me stuff for that, and I'm totally grateful for that. I think that's pretty sweet, and I'm totally fine with not getting any new fan art this time. There was one thing that popped up on my DeviantArt feed, I think it was, which was like, it was a compilation picture, which is completely unrelated to me, but I was in it, and it was of an art which I had made but myself, and it's like, I don't want to include those in fan art sections. Like, they're sort of like, it's not that I don't want to promote them or whatever, because yeah, anybody making anything for me is cool, but like, if I like feature the sort of low effort stuff where you're just pasting two images together, then I like, then more people are going to do that, and it's like, again, I don't mind that, but I'm pretty sure there's probably going to be people doing that exclusively to get on Vivcast. I do not mind if there's people who legitimately want to draw me art, and like send it to me so that it can be featured in Vivcast. I do not mind that, because fan art is fan art. If you want to get featured, and I think you deserve it, because you drew, and if you drew me fan art, then I think you probably do. Then you go ahead, whatever. I don't mind. In any case, I'm going to go over a couple of old pieces, because fan art section needs to have some fan art, doesn't it? Anyway, Jesus, it took how long to get to the first piece of fan art? Jesus Christ. You know what this was? This was fan art formalities. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, the first piece of fan art is by Craden. It is this image, which is Viva up in the top right corner. I'm gonna hold up, a drink of water. Nice. Oh, I needed that. Yeah, this image is by Craden, who is a person I know IRL, and this is an image of people that he knows IRL, and I am one of them. Down at the bottom left is Anthony C, who's a pretty cool dude. He was in the he was in the St. Patrick's Day collab a couple of days ago. For some reason, he's a unicorn here. I am 90% sure that's an error, but I find it funny, so like, whatever, I don't care. He's a unicorn now. But yeah, this is a cool thing, and I like it. It's a cool thing that that was made and has my horse in it, because Craden, he's a good artist and a cool dude, and I like him. Thank you for that. And next, we're gonna go into, oh yes, this one. This one, I really like this one. This one is by Alumix. Like I said, Alumix, like there's an I in between the M and the X, but there's not. Bam! Here's the fan art. Check it out. It's a reference to an old video that I made. If you have not seen the video, it is called Very Hot. and it's to a silly like song, and there's like it features my horse eating curry and then getting a fiery mouth, and for some reason that is I believe my second most popular video on my channel, so that's neat. It's either my second or my third. I'm pretty sure it's my second. I'm going to double check right now. It is my second most popular video, yes, at least as of now. Maybe it's not later on, when I make another super mega video, if that ever happens. I don't know. But yeah, Very Hot, that is the video, and this is the fan art based on it, and it's really cool. It was like, it's because, like, look at the style and how do you describe art styles? It's not like sort of simple, like, pony art style, which most other arts is, where it's just sort of like the lines and the filled colors, like, pretty much like the show. This is like cool and like shaded and like but it's still sort of show style proportions. I don't know, whatever. It's a really cool piece of fan art, and I really like it. And yeah. That's it. Okay, I'm done with talking about fan art. You know what that means? The episode's finished. I finished the episode, hooray! And thank you for watching Vivcast and the such. And I guess, as per usual, I still have no. Okay. For every single episode of Vivcast, I always think of a thing to say, for like every other part of the episode, but I never think about the end. Even though the end, I constantly like, I'm just like, I don't know what to say at the end. And I just sort of like, I just sort of like end it abruptly after saying the words that would abruptly end this, but I want to slightly keep talking for slightly longer. I guess no, that's right. There was one comment that made the suggestion that I should end an episode by saying "good show" or "good show," which is stupid. I don't think I'll do that. But thank you for the suggestion. All right, I think I'm actually done now. Yeah, be good, good. Goodbye.